Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutrabhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayiniim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshiniim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagaः Dhyanavastitadadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaः Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Hari Om. We started the study of Gita Dhyana Slokas, the prayerful verses on the Bhagavad Gita, last class. There are 9 verses composed by the great Advaita Acharya, Madhusudana Saraswati. And we have seen the first 3 verses last class. Let us first chant those 3 verses. The entire set of all the 9 verses is available to you as a PDF on the Google Drive that I've shared with you. I hope you have downloaded that and have you with you to chant with me. If not a problem, just listen and come prepared when you come for the next class. And we will chant these verses for a few classes so that those of you who do not have them memorized will have an opportunity to do so. Okay? So let us chant the 3 verses that we have already seen. Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavati Ashtadashadyayiniim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshiniim. नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. So these three verses we saw last class. The very first verse of this Gita Dhyana Shloka is the Gita Namaskara, where the author Madhusudana Saraswati is addressing Bhagavad Gita as the mother. Salutations to that mother, Bhagavad Gita. The second verse is the Namaskara to Bhagavan Vedavyasa, Vyasacharya, who composed the entire Bhagavad Gita. Of course, the entire Mahabharata, in which we find the Bhagavad Gita. Next, the third verse is dedicated to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who gave the knowledge of the Gita, of the Bhagavad Gita, to humanity. And he gave it over the shoulders of Arjuna. And we are benefiting from that even to this day. So we've seen these three verses last class. And today we will start with the fourth verse. Now this verse is one more Gita Namaskara. Namaskara to Bhagavad Gita. Let us read. Sarvopaniषदो गावो Dogda Gopalanandanah Dogda Gopalanandanah Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dogdam Gitamritam Mahat Dogdham Gitamritam Mahat Sarvopaniषदो गावो Dogda Gopalanandanah Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dogdam Gitamritam Mahat. What is Bhagavad Gita? Here, Madhusudana Saraswati says, Gita is not the philosophy of Sri Krishna. Gita is not the philosophy of Bhagavan Vedavyasa. Then what is the Gita? It is the same teaching that is contained in the Vedas. The Vedas are the original scriptures. They have been existing in our culture from time immemorial. We do not know when the Vedas started. It is said that the Vedas come along with the creation at the same time. So, and these are cycles of creation. This is not one creation. So we can never put time t equals 0 for this, either for creation or for that matter for the Vedas. Now, the end portion of these Vedas is called Vedanta. Vedanta, end portion. End not physically, It is the knowledge portion that is the culmination. That is the final destination for one who undertakes the study of the Vedas. In that way, end of knowledge, the highest. It's also called the Upanishad portion of the Vedas. This section of the Vedas alone gives us the self-knowledge. As I've said many times, only two subject matters in the Vedas. One is Dharma and the other is Brahma. The Dharma is the focus of the Karma Kanda, the righteous way of living. It's a preparation for the preparation of the mind. What all karmas one has to do, karma, Upanishad, karma, upasana, etc. That is the karma kanda, upasana kanda, etc. But the knowledge part of it, which discusses Brahma, that is the Vedanta portion. That is the Upanishad. And now Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads. The essence of Vedanta is Bhagavad Gita. And the author gives a beautiful metaphor to convey this idea. He compares the Upanishad portion of the Vedas to a cow. Here he compares the Upanishad to a cow. And we all know, we all hold cow to be very sacred. And he says, Sarva Upanishadaha Gavaha. All the Upanishads are like the cows. Okay. If the Upanishads are like the cows, what does Bhagavan Sri Krishna do? Sri Krishna is the cowherd boy. He is an expert in milking the Upanishadic cow also. He milked the Upanishadic cow. He extracted the essence from the Upanishads. And given that teaching as the Bhagavad Gita. So Gopala Nandanaha, he has milked, here the milk is symbolic. He has extracted the essence of the Upanishads. Now, if the cow has to give milk, usually they keep the calf in front. Otherwise, the cow does not release the milk. When the cow sees the calf, the cow out of great love, we call that Vatsalya Bhava. The love that a parent has for the child, cow has for the calf, etc., is called Vatsalya Bhava. Love itself is of different types. This love is called Vatsalya Bhava. So from that Upanishadic cow to give the milk, who is that calf? And that is Partho Vatsaha. Partha, Arjuna is like the calf. So keeping Arjuna in front, Bhagavan milked the Upanishadic cow. And from that came the milk of wisdom, came the milk of self-knowledge. So that milk is Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. This great nectar of the Bhagavad Gita, the teaching of the great Bhagavad Gita is that milk. So with this beautiful metaphor, another Gita Namaskara. Now we go back to a verse that is a dedication to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. It's a namaskara to Sri Krishna. That is the next verse. Let us read verse 5. This is a very popular verse. Most of you will know. Quite often chanted many occasions, many contexts. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande. I bow down to Lord Sri Krishna. What is the greatness of this Lord? Even though he is Satchidananda Swarupaha, even though he is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss, and Vishwopatti Hetuhu, the cause of the whole universe, even though he is all that, he came down as Vasudeva Sutam, as the son of Vasudeva. Because he is the son of Vasudeva, he is called Vasudeva. Another name for Bhagavan Sri Krishna is Vasudeva. Here the Avatara Swarupa is pointed out. We will talk about the Avatara Siddhanta in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We'll talk about that in great detail. So he came down, he took Avatara, and he came as the son of Vasudeva. Now, as a member of a family, as a person, as a member of the society, as a citizen of the world, all of us have a responsibility. And Sri Krishna was great in identifying what those responsibilities are and fulfilling all the duties necessary for those responsibilities. Of course, he is great as a Jagat Guru. Here we get the greatness, the description of the greatness of Sri Krishna at different levels. Vasudeva Sutam Devam. So that Lord, who is the son of Vasudeva, not only son of Vasudeva, Devaki Parama Anandam. Who is the mother? Devaki Parama Anandam, a great source of joy to his mother Devaki. So as a member of the family, Sri Krishna gave so much joy to the family members. This is where our duty begins. We should never forget that. We should make our family happy. That is one of our responsibilities, especially as parents. Expanding that, we give happiness to our community and further to the next generation. All that is there. Some people are very good. They take care of the family, but their contribution to the society is zero. That is one type of people. Then there are other great service-minded people. who take care of all other children, everything in the society, but neglect their own children, neglect their own family. That is also not correct. You shouldn't do that either. One has a duty to the family, one has a duty to the society, and one has the duty to the posterity as well. All of that one has to fulfill. We should have a very clear idea of what those duties and responsibilities are. And that's how we should live our life. Bhagwan Sri Krishna fulfilled all the three duties so very well. Vasudeva Sutam Devaki Paramanandam indicates Sri Krishna's dedication and contribution to the family. These are all indications. This is how we should understand these verses. Did he do anything for the society? Of course he did. And that is indicated by Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. Kamsa, his own uncle, was a Himsaka, man of violence. He put Bhagwan's father and mother in jail. He killed their little babies one by one. That's how cruel Kamsa was. Mushtika and Chanura were two Asura wrestlers. In Bhagavatam, there is the story of Balarama, where Balarama and Sri Krishna went to Mathura and battled the two Asuras, Mushtika and Chanura, respectively, and killed them. So Bhagavan destroyed all the Asuras who were a threat to the peace and harmony of the society. Bhagavan himself will say in the fourth chapter, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkritam. All that we will see whenever there is an increase of adharma and decrease of dharma in the society, I come to restore that, to protect the good people, to protect dharma. Every yuga, I take avatar. So he does that. So here the reference is to this destruction of these wicked and asuric people. Such people are the embodiment of adharma. So he killed and saved humanity from adharma. Symbolically also, Kamsa and Chanura represent raga and dvesha, the likes and dislikes. These are the negative tendencies in our mind. We will see the emphasis in the Bhagavad Gita a lot about getting rid of raga and dvesha. Having samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate, we will read. So these raga and dvesha and such other negative tendencies must be destroyed. So this is also symbolic of that. The devotion to the Lord destroys such negative tendencies in us. That is also important. So all these are indicative of what Bhagavan gave to the society. Then how did he contribute to the posterity? And here we are talking about the avatara of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And when he takes avatara, he also has to go back. Definitely Bhagavan is immortal, but when he takes avatara, he has to stay here for a certain period of time. And after that, after his job is done, he has to get out of here. And after he is gone, what does he leave? What is his legacy? What has he given for the future generation? Bhagavan's contribution to posterity is the Bhagavad Gita. As Jagat Guru, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he taught the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And through Arjuna, he has given the wisdom to the entire humanity. The Mahabharata war took place more than 5,000 years ago. Even now, the Bhagavad Gita is fresh and alive and is capable of helping the seekers. We are all studying the Bhagavad Gita even today. We are learning from that, and thereby we have enriched our life at various levels. The Bhagavad Gita helps us, helps the seekers. What better contribution can one make? So Lord Sri Krishna is called Jagat Guru, the teacher, the preceptor of the universe. Really speaking, Bhagavan only is the Jagat Guru. No other person really deserves the title. Therefore, here Madhusudana Saraswati says, I salute to Sri Krishna, the divine son of Vasudeva and the delight of Devaki, the destroyer of Kamsa and Chanura, and the teacher to the universe. Then we will see another verse on Sri Krishna. That is the next verse, the sixth verse. Let us read. Bhishmadronatata Jayatratajala Gandharanilotpala Bhishmadronatata Jayatratajala Gandharanilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvatthama Vikarna Ghoramakara Duryodhana Vartini Ashvatthama Vikarna Ghoramakara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartakah Keshavah Kaivartakah Keshavah Bhishmadronatata Jayatratajala Gandharanilotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvatthama Vikarna Ghoramakara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi Kaivartakah Keshavah. Here the Mahabharata war is compared to a huge river. And how is this river described? Go to the fourth line, Rana Nadi. This battle river, the river of battle. Sotirna Kalu Pandavaihi. Sa Uttirana. This river was crossed over by the Pandavas. So, this battle is compared to a river and they came out victorious. So they crossed over this river, this battle, this war. There was no bridge to walk over that river. No bridge was built. Then how did they cross over? There's no bridge. You have to use a boat. So you have to use a boat. And Kaivartakah Keshava, the fourth line, the last two words, Kaivartakah Keshava. We see that expression. Kaivartakah means a boatman. The one who knows how to steer a boat, navigate a boat through a river. Currents, river currents are there. So you must be very skillful. It's not a still lake where you go for an excursion, kayak, but it is a battlefield. So you need to be able to guide a boat through. Even the most tempestuous situations, most treacherous river, you should be able to navigate through that. And Bhagavan Sri Krishna was that expert boatman. So many dangers are lurking in the river. The Pandavas had to navigate through all those dangers and cross the river to save themselves. This was the biggest crisis and challenge in their lives. They have been through a lot already, but this was the final challenge. For Pandavas, it was the Mahabharata war. And for us, for every human being, there are situations in life that are treacherous, trying, and dangerous for every one of us. We get caught up in that. A person that is caught up in such situations is Artha Purusha. Artha means one who is helpless, in distress, one who does not know how to get out of such situations. The Pandavas were in such dire straits. That kind of a situation they were in when they had to face the Mahabharata war. At that crucial moment, Lord Sri Krishna came as a savior. Such a savior is called Artha Trana Parayana. The danger the Pandavas faced is described. The dangers involved in the Mahabharata war are described here. In the river of the Mahabharata war, Bhishma Drona Tata, the two banks were Bhishma and Drona. Two banks of the river, described as Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma, the grandsire, and Drona, the great Acharya. They are described as the two banks. The banks of the river determine the direction of flow of the river. The banks were not there that the water will just spread all over and it cannot flow to its final destination. So Bhishma and Drona guided not only the war, but their entire life of both Pandavas and Kauravas. So these two were two powerful warriors also. And they are capable of deciding the course of the war. Bhishma Drona Tata. They were there on the battlefield. Unfortunately for the Pandavas, they were on the Kaurava side. They had to tackle that also. Both of them were great in their own right. The next problem, Jayatrata Jala. The waters of the river is none other than Jayatrata. Jayatrata was Sindhu Raja, the king of Sindhu Desha. He was also on the side of Kauravas. He was very powerful also. Jayatratha was the Duryodhana's brother-in-law. His sister Dushila's husband. There were 100 of them, Kauravas, and there was also, they all had a sister, Dushila. There's an interesting story about Jayatratha. His father had a boon to protect him. Anybody who made Jayatratha's head fall on the ground would have his head cut off, and that person will die immediately. The Bhagwan was aware of this boon. And whoever knows that boon will not come and fight with him. So even if he won, he would lose. And Bhagwan knew this. And he was there. So when Arjuna was engaged in a battle with Jayatratha, he guided Arjuna to make sure that Jayatratha's head fell on his father's lap. Jayatratha's father was meditating in the forest, and when the head fell on his lap, he jumped, and Jayatratha's head fell on the ground. So both the father and son perished. That was another trap Pandavas had, and Bhagwan steered them out of that trap. Anyway, Jayatratha was a formidable enemy, and he was like a river whose depth cannot be fathomed. Then Gandhara Nilotpala. Gandhara means the king and the prince of Gandhara Desha. The king was Subala and the prince was Shakuni. You all know how cunning Shakuni was. I don't have to describe his character or his role in the Mahabharata story. Here he is compared to Nilotpala. He is compared to Nilotpala, blue lily, which is very attractive. But when you go near it, you get trapped in the slush. So that is one reading. Another reading also is there. Instead of Nilotpala, it is read as Nilopala. Nila Upala, meaning blue rock. Instead of describing Shakuni as a beautiful blue lotus, described as a rock. Don't ask me why blue rock. Can be any color. Rocks in the river are dangerous. And they can just rock a boat. Shakuni did exactly that in the life of Pandavas. That's what that is. Then Shalya Grahavati. Shalya. Shalya was another king of Madra Desha. Madri was the second wife of Pandu. And Shalya was her brother. So Shalya is the uncle of Nakula and Sahadeva. He was tricked into joining the Kauravas. Shalya was a great charioteer. He could drive the chariot in the battle very skillfully. And he was coming to join the Pandavas only. He was, after all, Nakula Sahadeva's uncle. But then they tricked him and he had to join the Kauravas. So he was like Graha, a crocodile. Then Kripena Vahani, Kripacharya, another great archer, brother-in-law of Dronacharya. And he is like Vahani, the powerful undercurrent. It just sucks you inside. Karnena Velakula. Karna was like the turbulent waves in the waters of the rivers. Velakula. Ashwatthama Vikarna Ghora Makara. There were many Makaras. Makara sometimes translated as crocodile. Sharks, whatever you want to say. Man-eating fish, whatever. Dangerous. All the sea animals you have. So what are they? Who are they? Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama was the son of Dronacharya. Vikarna, brother of Duryodhana. And they are all like terrible Makaras. And of course we have Duryodhana. Duryodhana Vartini. Avarta is a whirlpool, a vortex. If you get caught in the whirlpool, very difficult to get out. Duryodhana was a great warrior himself, very strong also. That's how he was. Sotirna Kalu Pandavai Rananadi. This Rananadi, the river of the battle river, was crossed over by the Pandavas. Just about impossible. But they indeed made it through. Made it through. All right. Was it possible? Kaivartakah Keshavaha. Because of the skillful boatman. And that was none other than Bhagwan himself. So what is indirectly said here is that if you face such situations in life, have Bhagwan on your side to see you through. Surrender to the Lord. You will find a way. The Lord will help all the arthas. When you are in distress, reach out to the Lord. There's nothing wrong. And then we will talk about this. Different kinds of bhaktis We'll talk about that in the 7th chapter. Artha Bhakti. It is the lowest form. You remember the Lord when you are in trouble. That's okay. Start from there. Nothing wrong. The Gajendra story is to illustrate this kind of Artha Bhakti. Nothing wrong. So, he is the savior. So this 6th verse is again a verse, Namaskara to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Now another Namaskara to Mahabharata itself. And this will come as the 7th verse. And that we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate